people on our newest version of our webinar series here, Stay at Home and Stay on Track. So if you could, please mute your mics if you haven't already. This will just prevent us to be able to hear everything. If you do have a question throughout this webinar series, please hit the chat. I'll be monitoring that. My name is Jackie Esselman, and I am part of the outreach team here. So this is our first time that we're really delivering a webinar. So this is going to be some fun, exciting times. We have a series. Today we'll be starting talking about articulation agreements. So start here, transfer there. I will talk a little bit more about that in just a minute, but really the premise around these webinars is normally the outreach team and I would be in local high schools working with students as they prepare for graduation, what their post-secondary plans are. And, given the recent stay-at-home orders in place, we're not necessarily able to meet with our high school students in their high schools. So we've scheduled these webinars to hopefully provide information to students and parents preparing for graduation that might be considering changes to whatever their next steps might be. Maybe they're looking forward to staying closer to home. Midstate can help do that. So today we'll be talking, like I said, about our universal transfer agreement and articulations. On Friday, we have a student life and advising how to become a student at Midstate webinar planned. Then next week, we'll be talking about scholarships and financial aids. And on May 1st, we'll be talking about decision day. So we'll have a free application by appointment with an outreach coordinator if you'd like assistance in applying. So with that, there has been some technical college perception that we only focus on trade programs or vocational, which is kind of a dated term. That's really not the case. We do focus on hands-on technology, but we have online and flexible classes that can meet really anyone's needs. So I have Suzanne Rather, our Dean of General Education, that I will be turning it over with, and she can talk about our partnership agreements with other 4 years and how to maybe start with Midstate and still get to your end goal. Suzanne Rather has been at the college for over 25 years. She's been a 16-year member of our full-time faculty, but most recently she has transitioned to the Dean of General Education. So in her role, she oversees our general education courses and faculty, but she also works with our 4-year partners to develop transfer agreements so that we can provide pathways for our students looking to transfer into a bachelor's degree. She's a native of Central Wisconsin. She's a SPASH graduate, and she still enjoys watching local high school athletics, now especially that her nieces and nephews are competing. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Suzanne and have her share a little bit about the benefits, cost benefits, and how we work with our 4-year partners.
Sure. Thank you, Jackie and Morgan, both for inviting me to be on this webinar today. I like to talk about articulation. I like to talk about transfer agreements, and thank you for recognizing that, yes, our mission at Midstate is a hands-on trade mission. It will always be that, but we've added to that, right? So we have apprenticeship programs, and we also have the ability to offer transfer programs. And so that's what I want to talk a little bit about today, is why this is so important, right? I think in this time, things are very scary for everyone. Things are very uncertain. We don't know necessarily what we're going to be doing in a week or 2 weeks or a month from now. And so it's really hard to plan and to make some big decisions about college. And so one of the things I wanted to do today is just to talk a little bit about another option that a lot of people may have not thought about, right? And so, why would we start at Midstate? For a lot of people who are thinking that they want to go to college directly out of high school, they're automatically thinking about 4-year schools. And I think that's fantastic, right? I'm a product of a 4-year school myself. And so there's no issues with that. But as we start thinking about the realities of what it's like today in terms of financial costs to going to a 4-year for 4 years, when can you start these programs? And then, add in the uncertainty of the COVID situation that we're in right now. And I think it's really important to start looking at all of our options. And so that's where I want to start today. I think it's a good time to really think about Mid-State Technical College in terms of the ability to start with us and then transfer to a four-year partner after you've received some credits or even potentially a liberal arts degree, an associate's degree in liberal arts. We've been in a really unique situation at Mid-State Technical College as we've been moving. We had to move online. We had to move our classes virtually. And we're fortunate enough to be set up to be able to do that very well. Our instructors have been very good with technology and can make that change very quickly. We now know that over 80% of the courses we're offering this semester have been successfully moved online, and we're really proud of that fact that we can do that. We know that there are some things that still have to be hands-on, and we'll handle that as we can as the situation progresses. But we're in a really unique position to be able to offer some of these classes and courses online. With that said, I think one of the benefits of starting with Mid-State and pursuing general education courses or transfer courses for a four-year university is that you can do them in a variety of different modalities, which I'll touch on in a little bit. So I think we're really prepared to start this at Mid-State. So I want to talk a little bit about what is a liberal arts degree. Really, it is a general degree. It's an associate's degree, and it would provide a good foundation for success by offering these liberal arts courses, or what we would call our general education courses, our general degree requirements, that would be equal to what might be found in the first 2 years of a four-year degree. And so students who are going to complete this associate degree, they often have the benefit of a degree-to-degree transfer, where their four-year partners or their universities would grant junior status and then automatically waive specific lower division general education requirements. And sometimes that's even regardless of the courses that are taken with us at Mid-State. They would say, you've met your general education requirements, let's move on to your major courses. And so I think that's beneficial, right? Because what we're looking for in transfer agreements for our students is the best possible pathway that we can do. So we want to be able to do 2 years with Mid-State and then just 2 more years with our four-year partners. And so many of the transfer agreements that we have already formulated with our four-year partners allow us to be able to do that. So I want to specifically first talk about the liberal arts program that we have at Mid-State. This is a partnership program that we've entered into with Nicolet Technical College. So Nicolet is located in Rhinelander, Wisconsin. And as you know, Mid-State has 4 different campuses in Marshfield, Stevens Point, Wisconsin Rapids, and Adams. And so this is a program where students can dual enroll in both colleges at the same time. We've agreed to accept each other's courses. And what happens is the student would take courses, about 30 credits worth with Mid-State Technical College, about 30 credits worth with Nicolet Technical College. The student actually graduates from Nicolet College with an associate's degree in either liberal arts or liberal of arts sciences or liberal of arts arts. And so why would we do something like that, right? Well, the legislature has set up 5 different technical colleges out of the 16 in the state that can offer these associate degree programs that would go directly into a 4-year. Nicolet is one of those 5. And so we partnered with them to be able to help our students in our district also be able to be on track on that pathway to be able to enter a 4-year with guaranteed admission. So we dual enroll students at both colleges. And the beauty of this program is that students in this program do not have to travel to Rhinelander. All of the classes that Nicolet would offer would either be offered face-to-face on our Mid-State campuses or online or using a telepresence kind of system, whatever that, they use Blue Jeans, we happen to use something else, but all of that can be done at the Mid-State campuses. So it allows us to offer pathways for our students where our students can stay close to home. They don't have to travel, right? And they can get their associate degree in 2 years and then take that associate degree, transfer that to a 4-year partner with guaranteed admission, enter at junior status with many of the general education courses waived. And so it's a great system, right? It's a great program, but even better than that, it is a cost saving program. And so when we look at the cost for a student to have an associate's degree in liberal arts at Midstate and Nicolet combined, right? It's about $11,500, $11,700 for 2 years. When you are looking at entering a 4-year school, you're looking at roughly $20,000 to $25,000 per year when you start adding all of the costs associated with that together. So, that's a huge savings, right? So you're literally saving, you could save up to $20,000. That's huge. I just want to take 1 second and I want to share my screen before I forget to do that. And so let me just pop this on for you. Hopefully it will just take 1 second. So you can see what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about a university transfer degree to 4-year partners that we've entered into a partnership with Nicolet Technical College. And so when I was talking about that cost savings, right? I mean, it literally could be up to $20,000 in tuition costs. And sometimes I think, and I know as a parent, and I have 2 children in post-secondary education myself, and of course my husband and I saved money for our children to go to college, but when you have 2 in college, that's a lot of money. And so you start thinking about, okay, well, let's look at financial aid. We'll fill out a FAFSA, and then you realize that when that FAFSA information comes back, you don't necessarily have all the money that you need to be able to send your children to college. And so we really have to start making good financial decisions early on. And this is one of those things that could be a good financial decision for a lot of people, right? It allows you to be able to do your first 2 years of post-secondary work for less than half of what it might cost at a 4-year college. And so I know I've talked about tuition savings, but I think it's really important for people to know that as you are taking these courses, you're saving a significant amount of money. And the courses that you're taking are the same courses that you would be taking at a 4-year institution. And so I'll talk a little bit about that when I show you the program guide for this program. But our faculty are equally as well trained as the faculty in a 4-year institution. They are content experts. We are accredited by the Higher Learning Commission, which allows or creates the opportunity for us to hire very, very qualified faculty and staff, just like a 4-year partner would do. And so the benefit there is that you're getting the same experience in terms of content of the course. I'm not going to say necessarily the same experience, because in our courses, you might have smaller class sizes. You're going to have a better relationship probably with your instructors, because they're going to know who you are with the smaller classes. And it gives you a chance to network really with content experts in their field. And I think, that's fantastic. I'm probably a little biased here, but I do think that that's really one of the benefits that we have. So in this program, you can stay local, right, and work toward that bachelor's degree. And then again, we'll talk a little bit about the guaranteed transfer to the different colleges in a little bit. The beauty of this is that these courses can be completed online, they can be completed face-to-face, and they can be completed using a telepresence type system as well. So what's happening when we look at, why would you choose this program? And I've already talked about the fact that it is a perfect choice for students who want to earn credits an associate degree toward a bachelor's degree, it's a great place to start. It allows you to get the first 2 years done. But we also are finding that many of the students in our liberal arts programs are entering the workforce directly out of an associate degree. So it also allows our employers to hire employees with broad knowledge base, strong communication capabilities, critical thinking skills. And those are the types of things that our employers and our communities are looking for. And so we can also offer that with this associate degree as well, right? So, what does it take to join this kind of a program, right? Probably students that have good oral and written communication skills, the ability to think critically and problem solve, to work in teams, students that are adaptable. I mean, these are the kinds of students' skills that we would be looking for in a program such as this, right? And so, oops, I'm going to go back just one slide. When I also answer questions for people, one of the questions they say is, okay, this is great, but why take this program at Mid-State Technical College? And I think that that's a valid question, and one that I'm happy to answer. In addition to the tuition being much lower than a four-year college might be, our class sizes offer a really intimate and supportive environment for our students. And it's one of the things that, hands down, our students tell us that they really love about Mid-State Technical College. Our courses are delivered at our Mid-State campuses. And again, I've told you that we have a variety of different modalities that we use, whether it's telepresence or online, or maybe it's a hybrid delivery method where it's partially online, partially face-to-face. And we have a lot of different ways of offering these programs. And so, and of course, if you have questions, please put them in the chat and Jackie can
yeah, hey,
interrupt
Suzanne,
me.
we do have a question. Could you talk about just some credits that students can earn in high school before they graduate and how this might transition into Mid-State?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of different ways, and Jackie and Morgan, please jump in if you want to as well. We do offer quite a bit of dual credit offerings in general education as well at some of our partner high schools. And so that's a great opportunity for students to really start this program before they even get out of high school. What are the courses that they could take, whether it's an English course, a social science-based course, a math course? Really starting that process will help, because then that will just limit the amount of time then that you are with us after school, and it's a cost savings measure is that way as well. In addition to those dual credit courses that our high schools are offering, there's the ability to do a program called Start College Now, which is a program where students actually can come to our Mid-State campuses or take our courses online through us, through a program that's set up through the high schools in the state. AP courses are great because we can take AP course exams at certain levels for students coming in, so that can start you on your way much quicker. And then also, and I will share with you, I had my own two daughters do this as well. I had them take courses at Mid-State Technical College, knowing that they were going to be going to schools out of state. While they were in high school, starting when they were a junior, they started taking Mid-State courses, either courses that started after school into the early evening, like a 3 to 5 or a 4 to 6 class, or maybe a 6 to 9 class, or an online class, so that they were able to gain those credits before they even went to their four-year institution. And so both of them had well over 12 credits that they could take with them, which then just saves me money in the end, because I've paid for the exact same courses that they would have needed at their four-year institution, but I've paid a less expensive price for them.
Suzanne, just to clarify on some age things, dual credit, you can start taking as early as your sophomore year in high school. Start College Now, you need to be a junior or senior. As far as age requirements for a course, it's going to depend on what course you take. There are some health-related courses that have clinical components to them that would require a 16-year years old or older to do those clinical type settings. But a sophomore, junior, or senior can take a dual credit class, and then a junior or senior status can take the Start College Now courses.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. That's perfect. It's perfect. So, and again, if you have any other classes or any other questions, just pop them in the chat and we can answer those as well. So students that want to really think about the liberal arts associate degree as a possibility for their first 2 years, I want to just share with you before I go any further, if you're interested, we have an advisor that is dedicated specifically to this program. So her name is Diane Andres, and her phone number, it's her office phone number, her email are up on the screen for you so that you could jot that down. And we'd be happy to get that for you as well. But really talking with Diane, talking through what does the actual course schedule look like for the next couple of years? How can we make that schedule as easy as possible? I mean, we know that some of our students have part-time jobs, they have other commitments. So how can we maneuver that schedule for them to really accommodate them as best as we can? And so I just wanted to pop that up there before I forgot. So let's talk a little bit about this program. So what you're looking at right now is what we would call our program guide. And all of our programs have program guides, and they're very easy to find. I'll show you how to find them. But it just sort of tells you what the program is about. And this tells you that it's a 60 credit degree program. It's an Associate of Arts program, or an AA degree. And we also offer a Liberal Arts Associate of Science program as well. So I just picked the Associate of Arts to show you, but we also have an Associate of Science, which just means that the Associate of Science is going to be a little bit heavier in the math and science credits, and the Associate of Arts is going to be a little more heavy in the social science and humanities credits. So that's really the difference. So if
Suzanne,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but could you just talk a little bit about the difference between the arts and the science? If your end goal is to become a teacher or a doctor, or if your end goal is to go into business, what route should you take, or how do you decide what to enroll in?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And I think that that's a discussion that really would be one that you would want to have with Diane. Because really, if you were thinking about going into a science-based field in your bachelor's degree, whatever that might be, you want to be a biology major or a chemistry major, or you want to go into engineering, or you want to go into natural resources, you probably want to take the Liberal of Arts Associate of Science degree. So it gives you the more heavy emphasis on science and math, right? We have a lot of students in our program who want to be teachers. They want to go into elementary education or secondary education. And really in those two courses, programs, you could go into either the Associate of Arts or the Associate of Science, but it would really depend on what your interests are and where you see yourself going in the future. And that's a conversation I would really want students to have with Diane to really map that out, because what we want to do is create that perfect pathway, right? So that you have the courses that you need when you get to your four-year institution. So for instance, we have some natural resource students that they want to do their four-year in natural resources. We are offering a soils and water course in the fall. So we know we have these students. We've gone out and we've looked for content experts who can teach these courses for these students. We know that we have some students who want to go into education. So we will be offering the Math for Education course. So we really try to tailor our offerings also to what our students need as well. And so I see one of the questions, is this just a thing on the program, about what the program can do for advantages, or is it about the program itself? And I want to talk a little bit about the program itself as well. So we will get to that. So the program itself is 60 credits. At both colleges at the same time. So up on your screen, you sort of see a checklist. When you meet with Diane that first time, these are some of the things that have to happen before we can enroll. There's a mid-state technical college application that can be done online. There's a Nicolet College enrollment packet that also needs to be done, which is sort of their application packet. There is a placement exam that we use. This is a UW system placement exam, and it's called the Tailwinds Placement Exam. And so we would ask students entering this program to take that exam. And it's not an entrance exam. I want to be very clear about that. It's a placement exam. And so it helps to place our students in the appropriate courses. So you're not taking courses that maybe are too advanced for you or not advanced enough for you. So we want to make sure that you're in the absolute right place. We want our students to fill out a FAFSA form. And incidentally, a lot of questions come up about financial aid. How does financial aid work? Does it work, go through Midstate? Does it go through Nicolet? In this program, our joint program with Nicolet, all financial aid will go through Nicolet Technical College. What happens then is when you take a course with Midstate, Nicolet literally sends us a check for tuition for that student's course. So all financial aid will be handled through Nicolet College. And then, of course, we'd like a set of official transcripts from your high school or any other colleges you may have attended. If you've already attended a college and you've already satisfied a credit requirement, a course requirement, we want to know that so that you don't have to take that course again. And so those are just some things to think about as you're really beginning this program and you're meeting with Diane. And again, this program guide is on our website, so you'll be able to see it there. So again, this is the Associate of Arts program, but you can sort of see what the requirements might be in the course. This is the program curriculum, and so you'll see that there are English requirements for all of our students, and this is in either program, the science or the arts. 6 credits of a written communication. So we require English Comp 1, English Comp 2, and you can see that English Comp 1 would be taken with Midstate, English Comp 2 would be taken with Nicolet. You would take speech, you would have 12 credits of humanities, you would have 12 credits of social science, you would have 10 credits of math and natural science. And then there's a little bit of requirements in the sciences. One of those courses should be a lab course and chosen from the areas of biology, chemistry, geography, geology, and physics. And those are all courses that are offered either at Midstate or at Nicolet Technical College. There's a diversity requirement, so you would take either diversity studies or intro to sociology. And then there's some elective requirements so that we can get to 60. Just, again, giving you a basic idea of what your program curriculum is going to look like, right? And so you can see the courses here that are offered at Midstate and the courses that are offered at Nicolet Technical College. And so Diane would be very conscious about helping you develop your course schedule, develop your pathway, that educational plan, so that you could be as efficient as possible in taking those courses. So one of the benefits of course, being in this liberal arts program is that we have transferability options already set in place for this particular program. So I want to talk a little bit about, I know that there's been some issues in the past where people would say, oh, just go to Midstate and take your generals at Midstate and then you can transfer them. And then a student would come here in the past, they would take their generals, and there was no guarantee that the incoming four-year institution would accept those courses. This program alleviates that issue because Midstate and Nicolet have created specific articulation transfer agreements with the colleges that you see listed here. These are the colleges that we have agreements with the Associate of Arts degree, which then guarantees admission, guarantees the transfer, and starts the student at junior status. That's really important. So then there's not a worry about, oh gosh, is my English Comp 1 class going to transfer? And it does at this college, but it doesn't at that college. We've taken that away by offering these specific articulations with these colleges. You'll notice that all of the University of Wisconsin system universities are listed, which I am pretty proud of. So we have the ability to transfer to all of them, but we also have the ability to transfer to some private colleges, as well as some colleges out of state. You'll see that the University of Minnesota Twin Cities and the University of Minnesota Duluth are also on the list. Now, with these guaranteed agreements, suppose you want to go to a college that isn't listed here. That doesn't mean that you can't, right? You absolutely can. It means that we don't have an agreement specifically with them, but what you can do, and what I always encourage people to do whenever they are thinking about transferring anywhere, is to make sure that you call your four-year partner and explain the courses that you either have taken or you're thinking of taking to see how they will transfer. And many of our courses transfer very, very well. Rarely do we have any issues. And again, I'll talk about my own daughters. One went to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. The other one is at South Dakota State University, and all of their credits were taken for the appropriate courses, and not just taken as electives. And I think that's important as well. And so when I'm creating these agreements for any of our programs, not just liberal arts, but any of our programs, it could be business management, digital marketing, accounting, nursing. What I'm doing when I'm creating those agreements is I'm creating the pathway where we get course for course articulation, course for course transfer. The last thing I want students to do is to come and take courses with us that they can't use in their bachelor degree. And sometimes that has happened in the past, where students will take courses and they'll transfer, but they'll transfer as electives. Well, you can only use so many electives. So at some point, some of those courses just aren't of value to you when you're doing that. We are trying to create as many program articulations as we can that transfer course for course, so that there is no wasted classes, credits, time, effort, money. We don't want to do that. We want to make the pathways as seamless as possible. And I can tell you that I've been in this role for almost 2 years. And when I began this role, I took on the role of articulation and transfer. Prior to that, we really didn't have a dedicated person to it. And so I've been working really hard in the last couple of years to make sure that those pathways are where we need them to be. There's still a little bit of work to be done. I'll be very honest with that, but I think we're in really good shape to offer our students fantastic pathways. So you can see the sort of the list of articulations for the Associative Arts program, but we also have a lot of agreements with other colleges for our other programs as well. And so this slide just sort of tells you that of all of our programs, of the 60 programs that we have in our college, we have over 100 articulation agreements. Actually, I think we're almost closer to 150 right now. We transferred to 13 of the 13 UW system universities. We have over 20 liberal arts transfer options, but you can sort of see some of the colleges and universities where we have agreements. Many of them in-state, some of them out of state, some of them online options. So we have a variety of things that we can offer our students, which I'm pretty proud of. And we're adding to that list all the time.
Hey, Suzanne, in my travels with high school students and parents, you know, some say, oh, I'm going to Madison. I'm going to UW-Madison. That's where I want to go. Mm-hmm. We know that it's challenging to get in right away from high school. You have to, you know, have a great ACT score. GPA has to be there. With our liberal arts or sciences degree, is it possible to get there even at
Yes, that's a great question. You know, and sometimes that's the exact question I get from people, is that they want to go to Madison or they want to go to Eau Claire, and they just didn't have the ACT score that might get them in, or the grade point average that might get them in. But they don't want to give up on that. And I don't want them to give up on that. These liberal arts transfer agreements guarantee admission. And so how great is it that you could come here for your first 2 years, get your general education courses completed, and then guaranteed admission to Eau Claire after that. So it's a way to, or Madison, so it's a way to get into those schools that might just be an alternate pathway that might have been a barrier for you to begin with. So I love that. Thank you for asking that question. So I guess what I wanted to show you, I told you that all of our program guides and information are located on our website. So what you're seeing right here is just a snippet of our website. And so whenever you're looking for our program information, if you just click on future students, right, and that will take you to our academic programs, and all of our academic programs are listed, right? And when you click on those, you'll be able to see all of the information that goes with those programs, including the program guides, which is where you're going to find the curriculum. I just circled the liberal arts, associative arts, and liberal arts, associative science, so you can see where they are. But you can see that we have lots and lots and lots of programs to choose from. And when you click on that, one of the things that you will see is an opportunity to look at transfer opportunities. And you can see that right here. And so when you click on transfer opportunities, it's going to show you all of the places that there might be agreements for that particular program. When you click on the college, let's say, and I just put this up as an example. So I'm going to click on, let me go back here a sec. I'm going to click on business management, which is right here. And when I click on business management, I'm going to click on the transfer opportunities on business management. I see that one of the agreements that we had is with the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point. And when I click on that, what I'm going to see is an actual mapping of courses, which I think is really important and what students really need to see. And so you want to be able to know that when you take English Composition 1 at Mid-State Technical College, it is going to transfer in as English 101 or 150 freshman English at UWSP. And so you can sort of see how the courses map course for course. That's huge, right? You're going to be able to see this for all of the programs that we have offered. And again, remember I told you we're still have a little bit of work to do. So we're almost finished putting all of them up there, but the majority of them are up there. But you can just sort of see, how do these courses map over? And, what are the total transferred credits? 57 credits. That's half of a degree. That's half of the 120 you would need for a bachelor's degree. So that's, it's really important that we're mapping those programs course for course as much as we possibly can. Let's see. I guess, are there any other questions in the chat, Jackie?
Yeah, one just popped in. Dual credit transfers, do those credits transfer the same way?
Yeah, so in dual credit classes, we're able to transfer those courses in if the student earns a B or better. Jackie, am I correct on that, right?
Nope, that is actually from an advanced standing agreement.
Oh, that's advanced standing. I'm sorry. Okay.
So since we have qualified teachers that meet our same accreditation standards that our faculty need to meet at various high schools, that produces a college transcript. So any dual credits classes taken at the high school, if you earn a B, C, D, or an F, that's on your college transcript. Now we do have certain student services and checkpoints to ensure that we don't want a student to be unsuccessful if they're taking a college level course in high school for a number of reasons. So we, my staff, our outreach coordinators, work directly with each classroom that has dual credit classes. But the point is that it produces a transcript, and that would be requested through Mid-State upon high school graduation to, transfer into wherever you might go. So they would transfer the same way.
Okay. One thing I want to also mention is that many of our articulation or transfer agreements have stipulations that students need to earn a 2.0 or better to transfer that in. So I just want to make sure that I'm being as honest as I possibly can with everybody, that sometimes there are stipulations on those agreements that would require a 2.0. Okay. Are there any other questions that I can answer or try to answer?
One question that I often get, Suzanne, is looking just to start at Mid-State with the Universal Transfer Agreement, liberal arts, liberal sciences, but maybe after 1 year, they're looking to transfer into a UW school. How does that work? Do you need to complete the associate degree in order for it to transfer?
No, that's a really good question as well. So there's a couple of fail safes in place to help our students transfer their general education courses. There is something that was signed several years ago called a University Transfer Agreement, which allows course-for-course transfer between the WTCS, the Wisconsin Technical College System, and the university system. And that agreement guarantees the ability to transfer 30 credits, which is significant. But the even better news is that in November of 2019, so very recently, the state legislature passed an act that moves that 30 up to 72. And so that's really great news. So the university system and the Wisconsin Technical College system have a little bit of work to do to try to make some more pathways in our general education areas so that we can get to that 72 credits. What are the courses that we'll be able to transfer seamlessly between those? So yes, the answer, a long answer to a short question, is that there's course for course transfer. You don't have to complete the program. If you decide after 1 year and you've completed 30 credits, you can take those 30 credits with you as well. Yeah, you don't have to complete the program. We'd like you to complete the program, however. Yeah, and really, and I'll be very honest with you, is that the university system and the Wisconsin Technical College system have been working really hard in the past year to create better pathways for our students. Both institutions know that we do not want our students to be taking courses that are redundant. We don't want them to be spending money unnecessarily or utilizing time on the same courses either. We don't want that. We want the pathway to be as seamless as possible. And so we're working very hard to create really good transfer agreements between the two universities. In fact, we've had several meetings in the last 9 to 10 months where members from both systems are getting together to try to really figure out this process. So that's really, really good news. It's really good news. Yeah. Any other questions?
Not at this time.
Okay. One of the questions sometimes I get is, will my financial aid go with me to my four-year partner? And so when you fill out the FAFSA, one of the things that is asked for is a school code. And so when you are in the liberal arts program, you'll put in Nicolet's student code. And then when you decide to transfer to your four-year partner, the code that you would put in would be your four-year partner's code, whether it's UWSP or Eau Claire or Madison. Every school has a code. And so you would just put in that code so that your financial aid follows you to that particular school.
We do have one more question.
Okay.
Why is it called dual credit?
Because you are earning credit dually at the high school and the college at the same time. So it's a great opportunity to fulfill high school graduation requirements, but also to fulfill credit requirements at your local technical college. I think I don't know how else to answer that question, but it's because you're doing two things at the same time. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, of course, if there's, any more questions that I can answer at any time, I'm always available to answer questions for students, for parents, for high school counselors or high school instructors. I'm happy to do so. We have a lot of great things happening in the realm of transfer and articulation, and I'm happy to answer those credits. I think, some of the bonuses of starting really with mid-state that our students tell us is that they really do enjoy the smaller class sizes. They enjoy really getting to know the other students in their class and connecting with them, but they also enjoy really connecting with their instructors. And they feel like that connection and that bond that they make is a really strong one that just helps them be successful as a student. We have a lot of good resources for our students as well, from our tutoring services to a variety of student support services. And anyone at our college can help get someone the resources that they need. So I think it's just sort of that family atmosphere that you can find here.
Great. So we do have one question. Can you switch between two liberal arts degrees? You started with one and didn't like it?
Yeah, of course. Of course. You can definitely switch between the two. With that being said, you would want to do that sooner rather than later. You don't want to get to your fourth semester and say, oh, you know, I have one semester left, but I don't really like this. I'd rather move to the other one. We'd rather have you make that decision sooner rather than later. But maybe you've taken a couple of science classes and you say, you know what, this just isn't for me. I realize I'm just not a science person. And you want to switch to liberal of arts, associative arts, you absolutely can. You absolutely can. And because there's requirements in all of the areas in both of the programs, likely, depending on when you make the switch, it's probably not going to hold you back or cause you to take courses you didn't need at all, because there's going to be requirements in each of those discipline areas anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just stop. I'll take this off. There you go. Okay.
So we still have some feedback, some time here. I think when we talked a lot about pathways and getting started. We talked about dual credit and all of these different ways to transfer. And I think, you know, for high school students right now, whether you're a sophomore, you're a junior, you're a senior, you will, by taking a dual credit class or a Start College Now class, you're preparing yourself for college rigor, whether that's at Mid-State, whether it's at another school, and it's really preparing you to be successful. There's different pathways. So in the dual credit world of pathways, you can actually earn a credential while in high school, which will make you more valuable for a number of reasons. You're more employable to the local economy. You're already started, you're on your pathway towards an actual degree. So some of the programs that our high school students can take while they're still in high school is the CNA or nursing assistant program. This is a prerequisite for any nursing program in our state. So it gives them that opportunity to, you know, get a head start on those prereqs before entering any nursing core classes. EMT, which is a credential that high school students can learn. While they need to be 18 years old to actually pass and start working in the EMT field, they can take that course earlier. There's a 16-year-old, I think, age requirement to take that course, as well as the CNA. But that is also going to provide some clinical hours or field practice hours for a lot of medical programs within the state. So also a really great option for experience there. We have a stainless steel welding program, which is about 6 credits. 6 to 8 credits for a welding degree. So that is a technical diploma that high school students can earn and then you know, enter the workforce into the welding industry. A couple more questions came in as I was talking, Suzanne. So one is, are online courses based on the calendar or can students work ahead?
That's a great question. So online courses are based on our semester calendars. And so when a instructor sets up their online course, there's a specific schedule and a plan that they would like their students to do. Now, with that being said, are there opportunities in some courses to work ahead? Possibly. I'm not going to say that never happens. I know that in some of our math courses, that's very possible. Students could actually finish that course ahead of the scheduled planned calendar time. But traditionally, an online course isn't an independent study course. And so students would have specific things due on specific dates. And usually that's will keep the student busy in that particular week for that particular learning plan. So it becomes a little more difficult to work ahead. Of course, it's always instructor preference. And so you would just have to speak with your instructor about that. Yeah. That's a good question, though.
Are there any other questions on courses at Mid-State, transferability, getting started, dual credit? Okay, I'm just going to take a couple of minutes and share my screen to the group. Hopefully everyone can see this. So we talked a lot about dual credit. This is our website, mstc.edu/dual credit. On this page, you are able to see what dual credit classes are available at your high school. It explains a little bit about what dual credit is. And here are all of our agreements that we have with our district high school. For any parents that are wondering what exactly dual credit is, we have some frequently asked questions and answers that you can take a look at here. Again, this does produce a college transcript for students, and you can take dual credit classes starting your sophomore year in high school, pending you're in good academic standing, and your high school offers dual credit classes. There's a tab here for Start College Now that explains the difference between, dual credit and Start College Now. There is an application process for this. So Start College Now is actually funded by the high school. So the student actually does not pay anything as far as tuition. Each high school has a different arrangement for Start College Now. Some high schools would like you to pay for the books and maybe material fees, if there are any, for the course you elect to take. But you see here that there are some deadlines to pay attention to. So March 1st is the deadline to apply for a fall semester class, and October 1st is the deadline to take a spring semester class. So that application is located here. There's an online application, or there's a printed version as well that you can print and turn into your high school counselor. Those applications need to go to the school board for approval before we can enroll you in a class. So it's important to meet those deadlines. Okay, the other part of the webpage I was going to share is just more on our webinar series. So if these college planning webinars, you found this interesting today, if it was helpful for you, I encourage you to find more. We have the next one, as I mentioned, on student life and advising. So this is just really how you can become a student at Midstate and then experience what life is like. Even though we've gone virtual, so our campuses are closed, we still have our semester classes running right now. Our student life clubs and organizations are still engaging. We have some really fun activities that our students are still connecting even in current state right now. So I'd encourage you to attend that webinar to learn a little bit more about what what our students are doing. And then looking into next week, we have our financial aid and scholarship webinar. So this is any questions you might have about completed the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, how to apply for scholarships, what kind of unique scholarship programs are part of Midstate, like our Sponsor a Scholar program will be discussed, and how you can become a sponsored scholar. And then, like I said earlier, Friday, May 1st is Ask, Decide, Apply. The outreach team here, you can schedule an appointment with us if you'd like to talk through your options on what your next steps are before getting started at Midstate, or just need application assistance. We'd be happy to help you.
Jackie, can I just add one more thing?
Sure.
So one of the things that oftentimes, it didn't come up in the questions today, but one of the questions that I think students and parents often wonder about or worry about is, will a student be able to have a traditional college experience by coming to a technical college for their first 2 years? And I think that's a very valid question. And so we've worked really hard to try to create that typical college experience. At Midstate Technical College, we have an agreement that we signed with the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point for residence life. So students can live in the dorms at UWSP and attend college at Midstate Technical College, which sort of gives them that college experience of what is it like to be a freshman in the dorms. We also have, and you'll see in the next webinar on student life, great student life opportunities. We have the ability to offer global education and with travel opportunities. So some of the things that you would typically get as a freshman or a sophomore at a four-year partner, we are also offering. And I think sometimes people don't realize that we are doing that, but we do. So I just wanted to add that in.
In addition to that, we also have intramurals, so our students can participate in those too. So again, just adding to that, you know, traditional college experience.
Mm-hmm.
There's one question. Could you let us know if the webinar will be posted for review? Absolutely. This session will be recorded. It'll give us just a bit to get back on our website, but you'll be able to find that on the Midstate website at mstc.edu/stay on track. The URL that I just had posted. I can type it here in the chat as well. Are there any other questions that we can help answer? I think we have some student ambassadors that have been listening in. If anyone would like to share a little bit about their experience as a student ambassador or a student here at Midstate as a entry into our next webinar this Friday. Vic, would you like to share?
Yeah, so I'm actually, I was a student ambassador last year when I was a student at Midstate, and it really opened the door for a lot of different opportunities for me to network within the college and outside of the college. It led me to some leadership positions and a conference at the end of the year, which was the State Ambassador Conference, where I was chosen to represent Midstate with the other 15 other schools in the technical college system. It was really exciting because I got to meet other, you know, like exceptional students who, you know, want to become leaders and do like network and do workshops. And I was also given the opportunity to share my story of how I got to Midstate. And then it actually led into me having a job at Midstate. And then I'm also a re-entry and transfer student to UW-Stevens Point. So many of my credits transferred over, and I was able to quite smoothly finish up my bachelor's degree, which I will be doing in December.
Perfect. Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. So Vic helps leads our efforts within our student life area, and he will also be participating in this Friday's webinar for advising in student life. So I just posted the link to where these webinars will be recorded, mstc.edu, stay on track, and you can review this there. I am so happy that you could all join us. Thank you to Suzanne for presenting today on universal transfer, dual credit opportunities, and our liberal arts and liberal sciences degree.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.